Et nous sommes en direct. We are live on YouTube as well. So, Facebook people and YouTube people, welcome. Welcome once again to the Real Agile Podcast. It is our fifth experimentation, still on the kind of season zero, prequel to the first episode one. So, we are episode 0.4. We're going to talk about autonomy. It's 11:27 Montreal time, New York East Coast daylight saving time right now. For those on YouTube who saw a black screen, that's exactly why, because we are preparing to launch. As you know, we are live on Facebook. Watch on the Agile Lounge page, as well transmitted into our Instagram and YouTube. And this is for the pleasure of being together remotely with Remote Agile. And we are going to start our show, the recording of the podcast that you will be able to pick up in your pocket while you're running and so on and so on. So we'll be with you very shortly with the show starting at 11:30. Now enjoy the music of DJ Nemo. Tale from Otherworld, South America. If you like trance, though. We'll be with you shortly with your host, Coach Jeff, live from the Agile Lounge studio, somewhere in the southwest of Montreal. Broadcasting live soon and record for the podcast, Dare Real Agile. Are you ready to rumble and dare Real Agile with us? Welcome to the few people on YouTube right now. We bid you hello. Hope you're doing well. The music you're listening now, it's from DJ Namo and Sacido. Great DJ from Peru. And they play for us some trance music while we're waiting to get the studio ready, to get your host, Coach AF, ready. All right, 11:30 as promised. Hey! So guys, as you will know from now on, the beginning of the show live, it's not yet the recording for the podcast. It's just you and I. And yeah, basically for Facebook and YouTube, you always have that kind of pre-show where we set up things and we put the table on. So as usual, the podcast we record then after, I won't necessarily watch the video or the camera. I will be more concentrate on the subject, or sometimes with my guests on Zoom for the time of the remote, and so people I might be able to meet. So it's just the beginning of a great adventure now with this podcast. So I'm really pleased. I see my subscriber base on all channel is growing up, and great news we have this week. And I'll talk about it later because I'd like to be this news be part of the show as well. And yeah, so I might. We are April 24th right now, so I might continue it weekly for a bit. And then when all the lineup of the 13 subject we have so far and some guesses that I will have to reconfirm because of this crisis we are in, um, we might start a monthly show depending on how the thing will unfold with the confinement and lockdown and so on and so on. But I think yes, next Friday will be May 1st. I think is it? Is it May 1st? Next Friday? Yes, it is. Yes, yes, of course, because 24 plus 7, it's 31. April doesn't have 31, so it's the first. So it's going to be May 1st. I think yes, we're going to do a live show, a recording, and then after it's going to be our regular schedule of the last Friday every month. And we will be more consistent as Scrum is teaching us about it. So the live will be last Friday every month after May 1st. So May 1st next week, because it's the International Workers' Day, and as I'm a aficionado of Scrum and changing the world of work and pleasing, on top of pleasing my customer, I would like to please the worker, those who build our product, our software, our services, our solution. Could be from designer, from business owner, programmer, developer, engineer, QA. So these guys and girls, women, everyone needs to be shouted out. So again, we might do a kind of team for next Friday, May 1st. May Day Agile, May Day Agile. Yes, I just like improvise an idea right now. So before I'm starting the GarageBand recording and what have you, for you live on Facebook, now I see like 5 people on YouTube. Facebook, where could I see this? Sam, help me. I'm live, but I don't. It seems like it's really quiet this morning. So that's the thing. So again, if you're new to it, right now it's the pre-show. It's not the live, actual deep subject of autonomy, what Scrum it's teaching us about it and why and how it's important to be autonomous. And we'll dive into that subject very soon. Just remind you again, the purpose of this live show is to get in touch with you, to be interacting with you. This is the goal of agility. The interaction between people over processes and program and what have you. And this is why we are going to set up the table right now. So for those who watch me live this Friday, April the 24th, as soon as I start the show with the music and I said, like you all said, this means like I'm totally dedicated to the podcast. So I won't be able to follow your chat, but I inviting you to chat, to put your comments, your requests of any subject that you would like to ask at the Dare Real Agile, giving you a space. You could even invite yourself if you're an Agile coach or any professional that would like to talk about business agility. I'm inviting you to the show because this is a space, an open space to talk about all things business agility, business, entrepreneurship, career, that nobody talks. This is why we'd like to dare it, and it have to be real agile in the sense of a mindset, a culture, a state of being, being like also a transformation agent. So that's really important. So I don't mind if you chat, but don't expect me, as soon as I start the recording of the podcast, don't expect me to interact with you. But at the end of the show, and even for the podcast, I keep it like kind of real life type of way. And I will go back to all the social media platform where you could actually put a comment or chat. And I will answer your question and interact with you. So that will be at the end of the show. And it's always about 30 minutes-ish. So so we go on with the subject. So it's between 30 minutes and an hour. Of course, an hour will be more when I have a guest where we do interviews or we talked about a subject together. And that's coming soon as well. So voila. So just remind it that if I don't answer you on your chat, it's because these live are meant to record a podcast radio program. So yes. So let's do this. You ready? I'm always nervous to push on the record button. Hopefully, all my settings are on. All right, let's do this. I'm waiting for the cue. Live from Montreal on YouTube and Facebook. Here's your host for the podcaster out there of the Dare Real Agile on this Friday, April the 24th. Here's your host, Coach AF. All right. Welcome, everybody, once again on this Dare Real Agile podcast where we talk all things business agility, Scrum, lean thinking, and everything, absolutely everything about business, entrepreneurship, innovation, creation, digital transformation as well. And that gave me an idea actually to propose you. As you know, a lot of people right now with the states of affair we are right now, they really think about what is going on with these e-commerce and the brick and mortar type of things. So I think that's going to be a subject on our show, talking about digital transformation. How important is having agile mindset, agile culture will actually help any entrepreneur out there would like to do through powerful e-commerce and digital transformation. So you will need business agility. You will need the Steve Denning, the Mike Beadle thinking, and all of this kind of interaction and substantion and empirism that we will have to propose you to make sure you achieve your digital transformation. I don't think there's any other way of going through a true digital transformation, a real one with real agility. And actually, I invited you to contact us here at the Agile Lounge because we have professionals that are actually in a mindset of agile and also have great experience in customer experience, e-commerce, CRM, both humanly and technically. So we are here to help you build your e-commerce business, your marketing on social network, as well as anything that touch a digital ways of doing your business or more, or having more digital stuff into your business, even if it's not a digital business. I think in the 2020s, after that crisis and with all the economic change that's coming up to us, you will need that equation of business agility helping digital transformation. So that's going to be a subject of probably the next show. And for those who listen on the podcast, I have great news to announce. We achieve a DOD, a definition of done in Scrum and Agile, because you know the first thing in Agile is people first and all the rest after. And the second thing when we build team, it's of course having a definition of done, agreeing on acceptance criteria. So I'm pleased to say that my team, both on the marketing side and development side and what have you, the system, Flux, RSS, everything, we have almost a DOD. And for the Dare Real Agile podcast itself, the one you're listening to now, and the one you could actually from now on grab on Spotify. Yes, we are syndicated on Spotify. You could find us with Dare Real Agile on Spotify. We are there with the first 4 pilot episode, as well as we are on Deezer and SoundCloud. We're waiting for Apple to validate us and launching us. But of course, if you go to our website, Dare Real Agile, so it's all together, the 3 words all together, darerealagile.com. You will find on our landing page with all the episodes that you could actually download, and you will have the RSS feed that you could actually use and to listen to us while you're jogging or when you're doing some hammock or when you're walking and what have you, radio style, podcast styles. So you use that URL I will put for you on this home page of the Dare Real Agile podcast, and you could apply it to any podcast reader of your choice, from Android to Macintosh, up the way to what have you. We make it available and open for everyone with any device, anywhere. And as you know, today, April the 24th, we do it in English. The subject, it's about autonomy and what is Scrum is telling us about that. And I would like to also talk a little bit because I didn't read it entirely. I was like very busy this week with the launch of their Agile, but also with so many projects coming up here in Montreal and Toronto for business agility and preparing the post-lockdown. But I read a part of Steve Denning. It's a message to us, business agilists and people out there. As you know, my late mentor, Mike Beadle, was a very, very, very big fan of Steve Denning, that a lot of us in the true business agility community all around the world, we think he is the thinker behind any type of, how could I say that? Any type of ways that we'd like to unfold together and co-create together about creating a better way of pleasing our customer and our workers. So Steve Denning, of course, made a paper. I think it's on Forbes. Let me see here. And I will put, especially for YouTube and Facebook Live, I will put the link in the description below for the podcaster. So you just have to find us on our website to get the links that I put always after the show. And what I see here, give me a second. We are live, remember, because we'd like to have it like on a more authentic and human touch. So if I go in my reading list, yeah, it's on Forbes.com. And let me see this here. So the title of the great article of Steve Denning, Why Only the Agile Will Survive. And actually, that's one of the tagline. My marketing guy, Samuel, that I salute, by the way, my great Samuel Ball, came up with the advertising of our online Agile forum in English this time. We did the French one back in April 15. Now we're going to do on Wednesday, May 6, 5 p.m. Daylight Eastern Saving Time. We're going to do this. And actually, we get inspiration with this because why only the Agile survive? And then when we have a tagline to invite the people to discuss and answer some questions about how we'll prepare, how Agilists should help and assist and facilitate the passage, the transformation throughout this new world of way of doing and working and participating. And Steve Denning definitely gave a great with the coronavirus crisis. Of course, it's a vast biological and economic and leadership, and it's attacking everything. So there will be new ways of playing. And we think that after 20 some years almost now of the Agile Manifesto from those software guys back in Utah in February 2001, we have come a long shot. And probably even before that kind of crisis, even before all this questioning, only those who were really with a lean thinking and an agile mindset was able to actually become the Amazon, Uber, Apple of this world. And again, none of these companies, even like the famous Spotify, like a lot of people, especially the banks since ING in Europe, it's these name tagging guys, you should stop it. And this is exactly the tone of their Real Agile, because we'd like to talk about subject and not these things. But on the beginning of these emission and podcasts, I'd like to absolutely talk about it. So for us and business agility, it's all about accelerating, but not accelerating in terms of just being productive and piss off the developers and piss off the workers and so on. No, we need great leadership. We need openness, and we need to think differently and act differently and have in mind this planning situation room and not a plan. If you follow a plan, you will fail. So this is about all these lean thinking and agile way of being. Then you'll be able to do great thing. And yes, so, and then you could, and with that kind of open mindset, you could create whatever the process you want. But remember, it's people first, it's innovation first, it's the creation of all the people together first, and then you achieve. So, and of course, what I like with Steve Denning, it will be like us at their Real Agile stuff. So he talks also about the free will. He talked also about like leadership and politics and governance, and the performance will probably also change a lot. So it's a very great article. Once again, I thank so much Steve Denning I'm glad to be a contemporary of his. He's a great strategist leader, and I think more than ever, we will need to make this equation. It's conscious leadership with Richard Barrett and Stéphane Leblanc. It will be also business agility with myself, Suryo, and many people in the field, and the digital transformation. So this will be like the three type of pillar that should bring us to new ways of learning, new ways of leading, new ways of living. Everything is already different, but it doesn't have to stay that way. We have to go out of that. We have to be healthier. We have to be smarter. So the most important thing, what I say to a lot of people right now, when they talk about the COVID and they focus on vaccine, on what have you know, and they focus about the bank and they focus, no. We have to, we all in this together. And so once we go all, we go one. And this is very important, I think, guys, that the business agility, we have a role to do as coaches, as facilitator, to help organization, business, and people going through that, and to make sure also the civil rights include privacy, because with digital, and this is what I like, and probably we'll invite again Will Salmon, great thinker, a great creative coach, about to draw me a smart city, but a true, real smart city. So probably if you hear this, please contact me, or I will contact you again, Will. I'd like to have you on the show, French or English, you'll choose, because we're both bilingual, to talk about this digital sovereignty and privacy, and because it's happening right now. It's digital or not, but how do we protect our civil right and privacy and so on? And Steve Denning addressed it as well in this great article. So that was my shout out about one of our strategist leader and business agility thinker, Steve Denning, that he go beyond any process or wording or framework or all that BS. We would like to talk about real things that affect people, and they're Real Agile actually inviting you. We are giving you that space through Zoom right now, of course, and luckily we'll go in some cafe. We'll be back at the Bryant Park in Manhattan, hopefully by next year, or going to be 20. But I'd like to meet you if you have a subject to talk about. This is all things business agility, link thinking, innovation. Uh, Anything that you'd like to share, that you'd like to dare talking, you're more than welcome. So write to us at coach@agilelounge.com, or go on our website and find a ways. We are everywhere on social media. So that's bring me to the subject of the week, or should I say of the month. Final announcement. Because of the lockdown and confinement, I'm doing it weekly right now. It's the episode 0 point something. It's 0.4 right now. So I might do a 0.5 next Friday, May 1st, because this is the International Workers' Day. And I think, as I'm a Scrum enthusiast, I would like to make a show, and probably with guests. We'll see if we could have guests to talk about the working condition, the workers' condition, the interaction of people first again. So I think it's going to be a great asset to do it on May 1st, May Day. And then after, uh, we'll see. It's a continuous planning situation. I might start a regular schedule to make sure I create consistency, like a sprint in Scrum, of the last Friday of every month, with a live recording here on Facebook, Watch, and YouTube. And then the week after, it's dropped on to the podcast that we are right now, syndicate, and to Spotify, Deezer, soon on Apple. You could find us on SoundCloud as well. And with the Flux, the RSS flow that we make you available on our website, you could actually receive it, updates, on any device of your choice. So what is Scrum is telling us about autonomy? And I won't review the Scrum guide that came in only 20 years after Jeff Sutherland and Ken Schraber mostly established it, because Ken Schraber was the guy who actually make it commercial, who sells Scrum. And then according to those two guys, it was a system, it was a process tool to help developers um, building product faster and better and more smarter than the project management way, than the PMI kind of way. And one of the 5 values of Scrum that came out with empirism was the focus and engagement. And with focus and engagement, we soon discovered that you need to be surrounded with people, all right, with people who are mature, who are adults. You know what I'm talking about. Because you don't build product like, and I'm not talking about like being green right away from the MIT and no. Any people who will be his first job is more than welcome in a Scrum team because it's a Scrum team, it's not a group. And as a team, you will help each other and you will have a mentor, a technical mentor. You will have a great Scrum master, a great coach that will be there also to facilitate and make at your disposal a learning culture. You will learn not just to code or to do things. And then again, and when you look at the phrasing of modern Agile, that could be understood by any workers, any people who is part of a team, and any type of team and business of any size. So the principle, one of the 12 principles goes like this. It's build products around motivated, responsible adults, and I stress that word, adults, and give them the freedom to learn and succeed. And for that, to give them the freedom to learn and succeed, you need to have trust in your people. You need to have trust in yourself first, and then it goes out in a vibration with the team. And when we say adults here, we're not talking about age. If you are 24 or 36 or 47 or even 62, you could be 62 and with a childless mind. We talked about maturity here. We talked about dedication and that courage that you need to actually fulfill your engagement to please the customer and different type of customer. So when you look at, I'm at 930-ish Scrum teams since 2003 that I actually help and facilitate and build. Are they all great? Probably not. Of course not. Are they all like, but I'm still facilitating for them. I'm still helping their coach and their business owner to go through some kind of challenge and anti-pattern because human are human. Okay? We are not seeking perfection. We actually aim to be the best version of ourselves and teams and organization and product and so on and so on. But for that, you need some kind of value. Okay? It's one thing to propose value and expect a ROE. But if you'd like to get that materialization of that, you need people who are motivated, engaged, and who are responsible. So how do we do that? It's not the topic of this show. We will have a show probably more technically about Scrum ways of how do we do that. What I'd like to talk in this day and age with the crisis is how, as business agilist, consultant, and coach, we could actually take that principle and apply it more powerfully into our team right now, reminding them of these elements of motivation, responsibilities, and the lean thinking of doing the has done as soon as possible, but with the freedom to learn and succeed. And to remind any leaders out there, any team leader, if you'd like to call yourself like this, and if you're a manager, not a leader yet, you even need more of us to help you going through that mindset. Because autonomy, it's what you hear in Scrum about self-organizing team, self-managed team, and a lot of people out there, manager, that becoming leaders, are kind of scared about this. But if you understand that principle, and if you need help from us to help you adapt and adopt this mindset, that will be something to help you take decision to actually empower your team and empower people to do this. And let them go, and you'll see. And this is why you don't have a plan in Agility and Scrum. What you have it's an agreement. It's a team agreement, and then there will be a cycle agreement with a definition of them. And then you entrust those people to build your product, to build your website, to build your solution, to build your services, whatever you have like to want to show up in the world and sell and please customer with. And then, of course, because trust and respect are not, boom, falling like this in front of you. No, it's with the interaction. It's with the different cycle. It's with goals and achievement and all responsible other people there. And then you will get to know your team. And to tell you frankly, and this is why we dare to speak real agile here, because a lot of agile, especially in the Montreal market, they think, oh, we have to be soft and pink and with the rainbow. No, hold on a second. If you have someone on the team that doesn't agree, we should actually have a great discussion, because it's important to hear that person, to see his motivation. That might change the mind of the crew, or all the crew and that person will actually find a balance, a mature balance, to learn from each other and achieve. And that doesn't take long. So this is why we praise and we value the importance of interaction between people and great, authentic discussion. And when you look at how the world is right now in time of crisis, now it's a healthcare crisis, and it's unfolding an economical crisis and a financial crisis. So it's going to be like a combo of three crises. So more than ever, you will need like that kind of freedom to learn, to succeed, and more autonomy. And the autonomy is not just for the team that work, it's also for us community out there. So you could inspire yourself from the principle of agility to actually show up in the world and ask questions and ask to think different, but have it in a way with nonviolent communication and with the hope of achieving together. Doesn't mean that we need consensus. Consensus is you might achieve it at some point because it's going to end up logical for this team or this group of people to say like, yeah, okay, we agree. But you have to agree. You have to have an agreement. You have also to agree on what will be considering done. And right now, our government authority and our healthcare kind of authority, and you see I use the word authority, it's anti-agile to use that word, but this is it. We have to call a cat a cat. The cat down the road is telling me that right now. And this is very important, guys, to understand that right now, this crisis is used for good or bad to actually remove some self-thinking, self-managed from citizenship. And the free will is kind of a bit under attack. And it is our responsibility as adults not to be infantilized by these authority. So it's one thing to listen to a group of experts. But when you look at the society right now, all these task force in the United States, or all this healthcare committee here in Quebec, and in France is the same, and all this press conference, and the way they talk to us, the way they bring it, and all the way the media is treating it, I'm telling you right now that it's not the agile thinking, it's not the way of treating people like adults. And this is why I'd like to do the parallel with the day and age we are right now. And this is why I find Steve Denning article very inspiring, because he's addressing it on the day-to-day, the carpe diem, the right now kind of situation, while explaining that why in the last 2 decades, those entrepreneurs, those business leaders and strategists who adapt a more lean thinking and agile mindset were those who achieved better, and they were the first, okay? Because without this kind of lean and agility thinking, you will not have the innovation and the creativity to make the Apple, Amazon, Uber, Airbnb, and even though, and you see, the big system is attacking all of these big chips now. And I don't want to go into like, of course, the evil corporation. Yeah, but they were once just guys in the garage doing things differently. And this is what we're inviting you to do with business agility. When I saw all these big forums, the tour, the Agile tour, the Scrum gathering, even though I love it, it's nice to meet people. But when you look at the way some people are talking about framework, process, and so on, they make me think like they forget the point. The point is not about putting big structure into it, especially like SAFe. SAFe is the A should not stand for Agile because they don't get it. They simply don't get it. And I will tell it again and again and again. Okay? Because adaptation doesn't mean like to bend over and to do whatever, like no. And pleasing the customer, no. And it's not a question of being purist. But when we think, like if you just think about that principle, again, build products around motivated, responsible adults and give them the freedom to learn and succeed, that should enable you as a leader to empower everyone in your team to be a free thinker, to bring something to learn for him, herself, or the team about the goal, the focused goal that Scrum is telling us. So I think, and the lean thinking of Scrum with those values and principles, we should be inspired by it for right now, finding resolution into that crisis, and especially preparing the after crisis, nonobstant the way we are been taught about waves of this flu-like symptom stuff that's gonna hurt Earth. So this is distraction for me. We have to be aware that there's a sickness, that people could be ill, and we need to be careful. Yes. But at the end of the day, it's not the first time ever that human civilization is facing a threat. And I don't think this is a threat that should make us not be autonomous. Because more than ever, even the globalization, the economic globalization will be probably under attack. It's under attack right now. So we need more than ever to be more local, to have more self-managed farmer, to have smaller team. So everything that our authority are talking about without knowing it, it's everything that I teach since 2003. And then as a community, we are bringing to the people in organization that choose to be agile and lean. So everything you hear about like being closer to our customer, having a fulfillment chain that won't have to pass through Shanghai and come back to India, simplifying the work, doing twice and half the time with a great mindset of not just the productivity and earning money. So this is why even in the article of Steve Denning and what I've been thinking for the last 2-3 weeks, we truly have to actually change our mindset of what is productivity, what is performance, and is it based on the return on investment, or it's based on the time invest to get the thing done. Okay, so that was my thinking today on the Dare Real Agile. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys will make me learn something also, because I'd like to learn from you. I'd like to hear from you. And that being said, we're going to close the show by going into our social network, because again, for you who are doing your jogging with your great devices and your ear pod and you hear, you don't know, but you could also watch your host. You could see your host on YouTube and Facebook when I'm recording it. So let's go on YouTube. I've got 2 likes on YouTube. Thank you very much. A couple of people there, but no comment. So now is the time. If you have a question or a suggestion, I'm reading you. Let's go on Facebook right now. Facebook, no, it's really quiet. Maybe it's the time. I don't know. Because when I do it at 3 p.m., it seems to have more people. So again, guys, when you watch us live, I will always take time at the end of the screening and the broadcasting to go along and see if you have questions, comments about the subject, and then we could like exchange because this is one of the agile value of interacting and collaborating together. So I'm really open for that. And and again, if you'd like to invite yourself on the show for a Zoom interview in time of lockdown, and soon enough we'll be in a cafe here at the Crew Collective, or if I could go back to Manhattan in a Bryant Park, we'll be able to meet and talk about all things business agility because this is exactly what our show is meant to be, to talk and walk the talk, because soon enough we're going to have program and guesses that we're gonna talk about things with giving you some tips to enable it within your team. So now you could subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Deezer, coming soon on Apple. You could also subscribe to our SoundCloud page of Their Real Agile. And for more information, I'm inviting you to go on theirrealagile.com. So there, the three words are all together. Three simple. Theirrealagile.com. And you will see our past show and all the means for you to subscribe and to follow us into this great adventure of business agility and conscious agility. So I'm your host, Coach AF, and I wish you a very, very great weekend. Thank you for listening and see you soon. Cheers. All right, so the recording is done on the podcast. I see one or two persons still on YouTube. How are you guys? The show is finished, so if you'd like to share a couple of things with me, that will be nice. Facebook seems really quiet today. All right, so nobody on YouTube that are there want to chat a little bit before I ending this live. Anyway, for those who are gonna watch the replay on both YouTube and Facebook, I truly invite you to go again to any link in the description. I'm open to tips. I mean, psychological tips. Any suggestion of subject that you'd like to have here on air on the Real Agile podcast and live streams. But also, I'm inviting you, if you appreciate the content, if you appreciate what we do here at the Agile Lounge with their Real Agile podcast and everything we build for the community and to advance the business agility and the digital transformation, I invite you to give us a tips with the link in the description below. You can do it through PayPal if you're international. And if you're from Canada, we have also the Interact way of doing this pourboire. So next week, May 1st, I won't say right now, but it should be 3 p.m. Yes, I'm going to do that at 3 p.m., the espresso coffee time. So 3 p.m. live here on Facebook and YouTube, recording for the podcast after 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time again. And will be French or English, I don't know yet. So it's be a surprise. But I might do it bilingual next week to try to please everyone. So we'll see. Especially if I have a guest who is Anglophone, of course I'm gonna do this the language that person choose. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it's gonna be a bilingual one for the fifth pre-episode of these podcasts. So I wish you a great weekend. Let me do a last pass now. Yeah, definitely. Okay. So Facebook, I salute you. YouTube, I salute you. See you next week's May 1st, 3 p.m. again for another episode of Their Real Agile, where we're going to talk about pleasing the workers and yeah, how do we actually go further and further with this. So thank you again for your listening and hope to learn something from you and the comment below. Cheers. Yeah, how do we actually go further and further with this? So thank you again for your listening and hope to learn something from you and the common middle. Cheers.